Hi, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Damola. On Conversations with Damola, we speak about everything impactful. We debunk certain societal constructs that are not true per se. Impactful conversations with wonderful people.
Yeah.
And guys, today I have with me one of the most intelligent men I have had the opportunity to sit and converse with. And I just said, nah, there is no way I can have this man in my life and he would not come to impact the people and my listeners. Today with me is no other than the person of Mr. Eloho.
Thank you so much, Daniela, for that flattering introduction.
It's honest, it's honest.
You flattered me a lot, but I'm very grateful and honored to be part of the thing.
Wow. Well, thank
Thank
you.
you so
We
much.
are happy to have you. Thank you for granting us the audience.
So,
Guys, today's topic is something very interesting. I know we just finished Men's Mental Health Month, but still in the spirit of men's mental health, we're going to be talking about the men. Today is for the men, guys. If you're a man listening to this, I just want to give a big shout out to you first. But for our topic, we're going to be talking about the power of vulnerability, creating a safe space for men to express themselves. And my first question for you, Mr. Eloho, is what does vulnerability really mean to you?
vulnerability, simply put, is open honesty,
Mm.
willingness to come just as you are, without the expectations of being understood or accepted,
Oh.
letting out your emotions, letting out how you truly feel,
Mm.
without the judgment of you, in quotes, being so strong, because society has made it that men should be tough.
Mm.
Hence, so many men bottle a lot of things inside, and that can be very damaging
Damaging, yeah.
emotionally.
I like the way you said it. It's very sad the way society has made it seem weak, so to say, that vulnerability is more of a feminine thing. You know, men are not necessarily allowed to create or to express themselves. Moving on, why do you think it's difficult for men to embrace it, to feel that safety when it comes to being sad? Or it's not just about sadness, so to say, it could also be fear.
Yeah.
Vulnerability could be fear. Vulnerability could be the ability to express themselves even when they're extremely excited. They're expected to be so poised and composed with odogo. We all have this belief of how an odogo should carry himself. So what do you think? Why do you think it is so difficult for many men to embrace that vulnerability?
I think there are many factors to it, and I think number one is upbringing.
Mm,
For some people, and I will share my own personal experience, and then we can progress and go on from there.
okay.
Most homes, you know, the father most times entreat on their children, on a male child particularly, to come out as tough, come out
Mm,
as do not cry, men don't cry,
that's it. You're
men
a
don't
man,
cry,
don't cry.
men don't cry, men don't express emotions. So most times, whenever a man seems to let out their emotions, they are termed feminine.
Yeah.
So, in the guys not to be tagged as that, most men crawl into what quote and unquote what they call emotional safety, but truly it's actually not it. Because let me share my experience with you. Growing up, I was really in touch with my emotions, and
Mm,
my dad was not really having it.
yeah.
My dad was a good dad. No, no, let me not let me buttress that. But the thing is, there was something that happened, like whenever anything gets wrong with me, I let out my emotions. I
Mm,
let it out. I cry, and then I was almost always ridiculed.
mm.
But psychologically, it had an effect on me.
As you grow
And
older.
yes, I grew older.
Yeah.
So I find it very difficult to actually express how I truly feel,
Mm,
because I feel I have to have all things figured out.
wow.
So most times men have these heavy expectations on themselves based on how they grow up.
Mm.
Of no intention of them. Funny enough, nobody even knows. Most men do not even know they carry this trauma.
True.
They really don't know. You see them act a certain kind of way, think, and then they think that's a norm. And funny enough, society has made it the norm. Which, if you look at it, it's really not good.
Yeah.
Because we're raising men who all they know how to do is practically provide. Aside providing any other thing, emotional safety, they don't have that. I want to digress a bit. People actually think, okay, nowadays I'm going into marriage in total, for example. People always feel what actually makes a home is finance. Then I ask myself the question, why do rich people or people who have it, why
Why
divorce?
do their marriages break?
Why do
That is a
marriages
profound question.
why do marriages break? If actually
It's all about the
it's
money.
all about the money.
Yeah.
It's all about men providing.
Yeah.
Then you see most men, aside the money they provide, every other thing they don't have to provide.
Do you know why this is so beautiful? Because I was listening to a podcast, and the person was basically saying the same thing. Most men who have money and enter into marriage and they realize that he said something. He said men see marriage as the end. So they enter marriage, they're like, okay, this is done. What's the next thing? So they feel like they're in the marriage, they provide, so they don't necessarily need to give anything else.
Yeah.
But that is not necessarily realistic,
Yeah.
because as much as yes, a mother or a woman is the nurturing part of a marriage or everything, it doesn't take away the fact that men still need to provide. Because I feel like only men can truly raise men.
True.
As much as mothers are important in the life of a man, every man needs a father figure in his life. And a man who doesn't feel who feels like his emotions are not safe in the hands of another man will go out into the world and not know how to express himself,
Yeah.
not know how to actually, do you know, I've had friends, right? I've had the opportunity of being with someone that he was a wonderful person. Oh, he was kind, nice, doing very well for himself, if I should say so for myself. But he was so out of touch with his emotions that even when he was feeling things, he didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to express himself. You will see him, I could tell, like sometimes I would see him get news, we'll be together and everything. He will get a very distressing call about a business that he was, planning to do. And you will just see his face is blank. Like he'll just be sitting down, staring, and I'm like, "Oh, babe, are you okay? Like, what's the problem? Do you want to talk about it?" And he's like, "No." And for the next 2, 3 days, I won't hear from him again, because I feel like that was his way. He will just withdraw, and during that period of withdrawal, you won't hear anything, but because he doesn't know how to express, he doesn't know how to. And when he comes, he doesn't want to talk about it because I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I
And
get.
and something you said is, you said something. You said, from childhood. I think the trauma has been imbued from the days of our fathers,
Yeah.
that it is not something that would just change overnight.
Yeah.
It would have to start from our fathers of today, who would train the children of today, the boys of today, that it is okay to be in touch with your
Now,
emotions.
this is where I actually come. It takes both parents, and that's why,
True.
yes, in as much as the man needs a fatherly figure in his life, the role of the mother is to actually teach the son feminine side of the woman as well. Take for example, you see, women are naturally taught to be domesticated, take care of the family, you need to be in the kitchen, you need to do that. Kudos to my mom, right? My mom actually taught me those women how to cook, how to those as little as those lessons were, rather, yes, were, I find it very helpful that even in my home to come, there'll be time where the woman might be significantly not unable to perform something like because you have those skills in you. Now most men do not actually have them.
Yeah.
So all they just think is so long I can drop money on the table,
I'm
that is
good to
all.
go. Yeah.
So if the mother can teach the feminine side to the guy, he knows how to navigate his emotions properly. So yes, fathers already have grown up with the trauma of I'm a man.
Yeah.
I need to maintain that manliness. If you
Mm.
look at the monarchical system, for example, you see this, when I mean monarchical system, you know, the kings and all that, there's the way they posture themselves, the women of must not see their weak points or anything of such. They must see them at their best always. So there's always this pressure to be at your peak. You want to be even Christ himself. Christ are typical of them. When you tell us, he was filled with compassion and he if you look at David as an point, David, like God will typically call David a man after his own heart because David would express himself right to the president. Even writing, dancing naked and all that. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you can't understand because David understood the role of being emotionally dead. Whenever God was commanded it for something, immediately on his knees and God. That makes me, I want to ask a question. Do you think people bring that into their spiritual life? That need, so to say, to always have everything figured out and always have, like, they go into spirituality or go into their relationship with God, and instead of them actually breaking before the feet of Jesus, they want to, act like, okay, God, they don't want to seem too broken. Do you think it happens in the spiritual sense? Happens. That is why most I do not listen to the Bible says the Bible literally says that I've called you with an holy calling, not according to your word, but according to God's word. Wow. The truth is this. Man of God, guys, this is not an ordinary man with us. This is Pastor Eloho in the making. No, our basis and foundation is the Bible. True. And then we should we don't have to come out, to believe that, because I pray so much, that's why I can do it. It is by the mercy of God. There is none of him that will never want to. We must learn to stand on the grace of God. He said his grace is sufficient for us. Then his strength is not part of me. God said that glory my weakness because of God. Yes, because of God, I will glory my weakness. Because of God. So if you go with the mindset that because of your work that you are here, and then you should trickle down to the way you see things. Christ is your father, and he doesn't want you to take your please, I'm getting emotional. We're kind of digressing a little, but I quickly want to speak on this. It is that understanding of sonship. A lot of the time, we have people coming, asking God for things like, they don't have access to Him. Like, oh God, you have authority. You see, people going through sickness, something like that. Oh God, please heal me. I am healed by His stripes. I am healed. So he's speaking out authority. But anyways, carry on, please. Yeah. So I try to model my authority. Not having an I'm a work in progress. That's what I'm saying. Because this is, when I was labeling most of the pastors and listening, try to get most of the time it's this part of situations where you're very just on the last time. Because you came out and come on. Sometimes some women actually factor into this idea because that's what I wanted to ask. Do you think women also play into it? That's what experience. You see your mind, there's a thing, somebody said the woman wants you to be very open and honest, and then when you're vulnerable from honest, like, come on, you're a man, you and then it goes back. It's not more like a cycle, it goes back to because it's also what we were taught as well. We never saw our fathers cry. We heard our fathers tell our brothers, "You're a man, you shouldn't cry." We come online, we hear things. So I feel like you said, it is the foundation. But that brings me to the next question: how does the way boys are raised shape the way they handle emotions as men? And I think we've answered this question already. What emotional lessons do families unintentionally teach boys? Unintentionally, in the sense that they are not even aware that what they're doing. until it has gotten out of hand. And it's starting to see when men, based on how they talk, push that into life. Okay, I work in an environment where my boss always has the theology that in order for you to contact authority, you dominate. For me, I was still taught that power is power. Power does not necessarily have
Anointing. Power is silent. Wow.
another thing.
Yeah.
So whenever thing actually says me out, that is not actually the time. I want to say that you're actually sometimes, it's very important to allow the room for honest conversation. I don't know that you ensure that you must back at them because I think that's very important. I read the book How to Influence You by the Canadian.
How to influence you by who?
The Canadian.
Bill Canadian.
The Canadian.
Okay.
The Canadian. And it's just something, there's something that happened in the work environment. One of the workers,
Yeah.
this airplane,
Yeah.
it's normally you put like a jet plane. Instead of putting a jet plane,
Yeah.
you put in normal
Petrol. Yeah.
that amazing. Now, normally what a normal person would do is to recommend it.
Yeah.
You know what it is? They went up to my home.
Oh my God.
When they asked him, why did you do that? He said, I gave him this. He said, the next time, you won't make that mistake.
That's interesting. It reminds me, but you know, and that is the whole basis of Christianity. That is it. When you get that part of understanding your Father, knowing that even in the deepest part of sin, you can run back home to Him. It reminds me when I just started learning how to drive. Shout out to my daddy. Daddy, if you're listening to this, I just want to give a big shout out to you. I was coming, I've been driving for like a week or two. I didn't have any issues. I had gotten home just to enter inside the house. I bashed the car, the whole bumper removed. And then he came and he was just staring. Hey, I went to his room. I saw he was downstairs. He had called mechanic, called security guys to come and park the car park and everything. So I had already gone to his room. I think I was like 16 or so. I went to go and kneel down and raise up my hand. He said, what are you doing? Stand up. And he hugged me. And he said, it's okay, it's part of learning. It is that he's even surprised that it's just happening. That he knew this is something that would occur one of. I went back and I cried. Not because he beat me, but because in the time where I needed or I deserved that beating, he showed me compassion.
I love this example. Most men are not giving that. The moment they mess up, they rain down hell.
And their fellow men.
If that were to be, let me digest it. Not necessarily that good. But I'll think another thing. I think for the father-daughter relationship, fathers are very, very integral towards when they are always very, very happy. I was laying an example about, let me just share this story. I think I was in touch with my emotional side doing we took it down to the question now. I was in touch with my emotional side, and my dad was not cool with it. And this was how he actually questioned me. The thing is, because I went to body correction. The thing is, just more like afterwards, give me my tutorial. Tutorial to the training, which is an order. Give me my load and everything and everything. Then get in front of the
Just like that. What did your mother do?
My mom was
Oh my goodness.
You believe that card is a double situation.
double-edged sword. Yeah.
That card is
Mm.
at the same time it's also not.
Okay. So he kind of got what he was looking for,
He
but
kind
at
of
the
got what
same time,
yes,
you have to kind of learn the hard.
hard way.
Mm.
But would I say it's really wrong?
That's the question, though.
So it's all about choice. Did I say really well? Because over time I realized that I'm too close to people.
Explain what you mean by close secretary.
Like I internalize things, I keep thinking myself, I find a way to figure things out myself. And as a result, it becomes very overwhelming. So you see when men crawl into their emotional state, they are trying to figure things out. And sometimes you can get them to a place where anger fills their mind. And then you see maybe the woman from our point of view just coming in like, what's going on? And just because he has not yet figured it out, he bursts out with anger because he has not figured it out.
Isn't that where toxicity comes in?
Funny enough, it's even a thin line between both. I can't even separate them. Because you see the female gender. If you go to school, you have your job, like you literally discuss everything. Oh, look at what happened. Look at what happened.
To the
Look at what
details.
happened. To the details. And then it has a way of alleviating that pain you feel.
True.
You say a problem share is a problem.
Problem half solved.
But
To the right person, though.
yeah. But most women do not actually share.
So what do men talk about when they are together?
You know, men, because of ego, they all want to be perfect.
Everybody's trying to be the perfect man, the masculine man, who's
The
got
alpha
his
male.
shit, the alpha male. That's it.
The alpha male. So they come out as, yeah, I have it covered. No, I got it covered. And then probably you see one of the guys doing really well. But there's every tendency for you to want to portray that you two have your shit all together. So that's where, so men do not actually come out clean and vulnerable. They just accept you have this very close bond. Very, very close bond. And it's very rare.
Very rare. Do you think they can form that close bond with their significant other?
Not necessarily, because some men feel there are things that women can understand, which is true.
100%, I think so too.
Which is true. There are things women can understand.
I think women, not to say that every woman is emotional, but we tend to, like I was talking to my dad the other day, and we are talking about the state of country and Nigeria, and I asked him, I said, Daddy, if when you are going to vote, will you still vote for Tinubu? And he wasn't. It was a bit iffy. He was like, I don't really. No, I don't think so. And I was like, Daddy, why are you doing? The straight answer should be no. And he was like, well, he started with good intentions, but over the 4 years, he didn't really execute it well and everything. And I was like, and then I started talking, and I was like, even his wife said came and said that women should do akara business, and he was like, calm down. Now you're talking from a place of emotion, not logic. And I was like, ooh, okay, sorry. So I think most of the times women we tend to make things like we feel things to the max, and men are a bit more strategic in their thoughts, in their when they want to do things, when they want even in their emotions, they think about it logically. That is why they kind of from what I understand or what I think, because I'm not a man. That is why they find it hard to really feel it because they're thinking about it logically, and maybe to a certain extent, to them it might not really be such a big deal, but it hurts. So instead of them to acknowledge the fact that it hurts, they're thinking it's not that big of a deal or something like that. Is that correct to a certain extent?
Yeah, men are naturally one directional. They focus on one thing.
Men are one directional.
They focus on one thing. You know, women have the capacity but when a man tries
To multitask.
and that's why I said we have them
Both genders. Yeah. It is not men against men versus women. It is men and women.
That's why it's it one thing men need to learn from women is women are very intuitive.
Mm,
And if we I, I've seen the dynamics in between my mom and dad.
mm,
That sometimes she warns him about certain things.
mm,
And it's always very dogmatic. I'm the man, I should do it my way and all that.
mm.
And most times women are almost always
Always
right.
no, because that's actually so much.
They are
Even the other day, my
almost
father was even
always right.
like, I don't even know why I still argue with your mother. She's always right.
They are almost always right. And you know why it's like that? They see things because women multitask. They see things from multiple angles.
True.
So they can see somebody and from afar, they can already tell that nah, this person does not mean that.
Mm,
But a man, until he probably has to get close and then dig deep and all that. I'm not saying you might not have that discernment, but
yeah.
women naturally just have that foresight.
Mm, wow. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. What are harmful beliefs about masculinity that men need to unlearn?
You have to handle it alone.
Mm. So, men, our wonderful men out there, fathers, brothers, young boys, you don't have to handle it alone. No, you don't have to handle it alone. All those your friends, those, I mean, it's not everybody you tell everything
Yeah,
to, and you can even be with a woman or something, and you know that there are certain things she cannot handle, there are certain information she cannot, but there should be somebody in your, and I feel like that is why it's very important to pick your friends.
yeah,
It is okay to have different people you speak to and
yeah,
all, but kind of compartmentalize.
yeah,
Think to yourself, this friend that I have, what is their level of reasoning?
yeah,
Know the kind of things you share with them, know the kind of things you share with this person and stuff
yeah,
like that. So it's just knowing how to speak to your people.
yeah, yeah. And another one is your value is not only in what you provide,
Wow, that is a strong one. That is your value is
not
not only
only
in
in
what
what
you
you provide.
provide. It's not no, that do you know why that hit me high?
Yeah,
Because even us as women, we have been taught that if a man cannot provide for you, then what good is he to you? So women, even to us ladies, if you're listening to this, just be, although finances are important, you don't want to marry or you don't want to be with somebody who cannot necessarily take care of himself, right? But it's not just about providing, providing, providing. Does he have vision? A man might not have today, but from looking at the way he grinds, looking at his lifestyle, you can look at other things. Who is this person? Who? How does he handle emotions? And then make your calculated decision.
yeah,
Wow, a man's value is not in just what he
what it
provides.
provides. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think the final one is being vulnerable does not make you lose respect or less of a person, right? Because I realized that the world actually frowns at men who express themselves,
Mm,
right? You come out and say your truths, come out and say I haven't got this figured out. And it's bad enough where I will use the church setting for example. You hear messages like you have your shit together, you should have things figured out. It's okay not to have. I was talking to somebody the other day, I said vision is found on the field. The Bible said something, it said, whatsoever you find your hand doing, do it well.
mm,
My dad always tell me, my dad grew to be in the hospitality business,
mm.
an accountant. And then he told me that he never even figured or imagined that we ever work in the hospitality business. And he rose to the top.
Wow.
So, you know, when people talk about vision, they always assume that you must have a perfect picture and then you must actually follow a particular trajectory.
Yeah,
But the thing is, along the journey, God navigates you to your purpose.
true. Wow.
So nobody will tell you that they have it hook, line, and sinker. Most preachers, for example, now it's even during mid ministry, they know what they have to focus on.
Mm.
Some they're just like doctors, for example, you learn everything, and then at some point you now probably
Specialize. Yeah.
specialize on one. So
Yeah.
that's how I just feel life is.
Mm.
find your hand doing something,
Mm.
learn the skill well.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Along the line, you'll find meaning where you should actually
What is
focus your
focus
attention on.
on? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Um, what role do friendships, therapy, community, and safe spaces play in men's emotional healing? So let me kind of elaborate on this.
Yeah.
Do you think I feel like men don't necessarily agree with therapy. You could be with your friend or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, and they're like, I think we need to go for therapy. And you see them like, no, because therapy is quite expensive. They're like, no, it's not. What's it for? We don't really. Do you think it is
I
important?
I think before I answer that question, I think it's a cultural thing.
Mm,
Because if you look at the Western world, you appreciate that side of things.
true. Very true. Mental health is
It's
everything.
everything, you go for therapy. But in this part of the world,
You're taught to just, like you said, have it all figured out.
figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Figure it out yourself. That's why you see being a therapist here, yeah, it pays off in some those the blue chip areas of this part of the world, but in the common man, they don't see it
Sit out.
as worthwhile.
Mm.
But the truth is, only a therapy can navigate you through your emotions, and then you can actually see that you're actually struggling with
It's
something.
something.
Because we find it very difficult to accept our flaws
Mm.
until somebody points it out to you.
To you.
And then if you introspect enough, you look and like, oh, I think I'm actually missing it here. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because I think if people create that space
Yeah.
to create that space to actually consult somebody who is more learned
Mm.
than them in that
Yeah.
field,
Field. Yeah.
they can point out questions, they can point out areas that you are not actually going right. Because, you know, as man, we nobody wants to be called out and say you're doing something wrong.
Wrong.
Everybody just wants to believe that this is right. A madman will not come and tell you that he's mad. No, his own mind is sane.
True.
Somebody has to point out those things, and then you now have to look at, come on, that's true.
And it's also being vulnerable enough to accept it
Thank you. And so I always go back to the Bible because
as it should.
that's
That's our manual.
if you look at forgiveness, for example,
Yeah.
first of all, it takes acknowledgement that you're actually a sinner
Yeah.
before any other thing, before sanctification and any other thing. So if you don't acknowledge that you have a problem,
You
trust me,
can't solve it.
you can't solve
They
it.
can even give you medicine. You're like, what is it for? I don't need it. True.
So that's one of the problem. I think in this part of the world we need to embrace people going into therapy learning and all that, and people actually patronizing this therapy.
So, so fr- do you think therapy is everything, or you also need friendships, community?
You need your tribe. You need your tribe, obviously, but
Uh,
there are very peculiar cases that when your tribe might not be able to help you with.
true.
Somebody who is skilled in that area can help you navigate through
Yeah,
stuff
because they have the science to back it
to
up
back
with.
it up.
And some, well, although I don't necessarily subscribe to certain drugs to heal, even though I'm in the pharmaceutical line, but I also believe, because there are some cases where your therapist might prescribe or your psychologist might prescribe some drugs and all. Although I feel like that should be the last resort.
Those are extreme cases, though.
Yes, but they can now say, Omo, this has gone beyond just conversations
Yeah,
now. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Um, how does a man's ability to express emotions affect his relationships? And by relationships, I don't just mean romantic
Relationship.
relationships. I also mean with his children, his colleagues, etc.
When you mention children, I'll start from there.
Mm.
You see how some parents create this perfect picture. Like while I was in school, I was a straight A student. I was this, I was that. And if you dig deep, it wasn't true.
It wasn't true.
You don't need to be perfect.
Mm.
Because I had a friend while in school and he got a B. The guy also jittery, my dad would kill me.
B.
For a cause that people were celebrating to even get a B, and it was like, my dad's going to kill me, my dad's going to kill me, my dad's going to kill me. Imagine that kind of trauma that guy will bring even to his unborn child, because they have this ideology of perfection.
Perfection.
If it's not A, it's not enough. And you learn more from failure than you learn from success.
Bam. Wow. Do you know, guys, stay tuned on what's coming on this podcast. One of the things I really want us to discuss here on Conversations with Damola is failure.
Yeah.
Failure. I feel like, anyways, just carry on. Let me not
Yeah.
over digress.
You learn more from failure
Failure.
and success.
Mm.
So if our fathers or our parents, let me broaden it. If our parents will actually come out and tell us the vulnerable side, I struggle with this.
Mm.
I struggle with that. At some point, I had issues with XYZ.
Mm.
So it is okay you are going through this
Mm.
because I've gone through it.
Yeah.
I was listening to Pastor Dollar for a while one day, and he said something that one lady came to him and then she talked to him about the grave thing she had done that were really bad.
Mm.
And then he tapped her like, at some point she looked at him like, why are you not cringing and all that?
Mm.
He said, you're not any different. I've done it.
Mm.
So that put her in a place to be emotionally vulnerable with him.
Mm.
Like knowing that he has actually gone through that thing,
Yeah.
not feigning perfection and said, oh, I'm the perfect person. I've never done this. I've never done that.
Mm.
Sometimes what people want to relate with is that's why you see people who have actually gone through probably one addiction on the other and other. They get saved,
Mm.
then they go into the world
Mm.
and preach. When they speak to somebody from that same going through those same
Yeah.
addictions, they can relate.
Relate, yeah. Because it's easier for me to tell you, I know what you're going through. And it's funny because a
You
lot of the
understand?
time we see people want you to play and better.
Yeah,
Do you understand? Oh, everybody's so quick to give advice. Everybody's so okay, do it this way, do it that way. But sometimes it's not necessarily do it this way, do it that way. Do you understand how I
yeah.
feel? So how do you think a man's ability to express emotions affect romantic relationships? I think this is because I'm a big romantic. So this is really the part I'm very interested
Yeah.
in.
I think what how that affects romantic relationship is you are emotionally absent. You're emotionally absent.
Mm,
You're emotionally absent, and then she's coming out telling you this is what I'm actually going through. Because I'll tell you for a fact that I've actually been there.
mm,
When she's telling me this,
mm,
because it's not logically sensible to me, I
mm.
just discard it.
Wow. And that moment when she needed you to see her, you kind of neglected her.
Exactly.
And it puts a strain in the relationship that obviously if you guys are intentional about it, you can work it out.
Yeah.
But if it's something that keeps happening repeatedly, it's grounds for disparity, for
Thank
separation.
you very much.
Mm,
And this is something that a lot of men need to unlearn. Over time, they think that you have to be the masculine. Sometimes, okay, Pastor Jerry Eze was pointing out um how him and his wife were loggerheads and how she was very brutal to him. But not, I believe he had the highest level of emotional intelligence, because once you are dead in Christ, nothing longer phases you. He said the wife was really toxic to him, that he would just start weeping.
mm.
It took the Holy Spirit to speak to this woman and say, what you are doing, you
Yes.
chase this man away.
Mm,
But I'm talking from the point where this man was emotionally intact,
mm,
that he never for once, even through those, because women naturally express themselves, their emotions are heightened, they don't really know how to really control it, and
sure.
then you go overboard. But it takes a man who's emotionally intelligent, who can be said a soft answer to respond. Do you know what? I was narrating a story to somebody, and then a friend, and then I said, imagine, okay, let me narrate it to you. Imagine you come to me and then you are all shouting like, I don't like what you did, I don't like what you did, I don't like, da, 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 da. I just come, I just go, it's okay, it'll be
I'll
fine.
start crying.
There's something that happened with a lady friend of mine. It was in church one day, and she was coming out. I just asked her for something. She lashed out at me.
Ah,
I could have actually lashed out at her back, and I told her, Mary, this is not you. What exactly is going on? She just started crying.
wow. The ability to see just beyond the reaction and see the person, the heart of the person.
That's where men need to immerse themselves in.
So, and also, I also feel like it's also I I feel like this part is very touchy for me
Mm,
because I have been in a situation where it wasn't even about me expressing myself. It was like express yourself too. You're angry, express it. You're sad, express it. And yeah, you're talk. And it was always a thing of no, I'm fine. And at a point it would be like as if I'm bothering, you know, I'm over disturbing, okay, oh yeah, take out time when you're ready, come and talk to me. He would not, as far as it's concerned, if he has dealt with it, he has dealt with it. He doesn't need to talk about it again. He can just say, oh yeah, I lost this contract. Oh, babe, like what happened? Is everything okay?
mm,
How did it happen? Don't worry about it. Okay, let's say first few days he has gone, he's sober and everything. When I see that he is a bit more lively, what happened? The contract, we didn't really talk about it. Like, don't worry, it has passed. That ability to really, even you as a man, being able to express your weakness, your sadness, I feel like it's something that some men struggle with because they have that mentality that women we don't understand. You won't get it. You won't. You'll take it too deep. You'll make it.
True.
You take it to the extreme and everything. But sometimes it is even a form of connection. It is an avenue for you and your partner, your wife, your girlfriend to really connect.
One thing I would actually say to this is, now I'm speaking to the female gender now,
Mm.
create room for vulnerability.
Okay,
It
how
is
do you
it is it
mean?
is mainly about timing.
Mm.
Um, Imagine if I tell you maybe you're probably not skilled in furniture making, for example. I'm just using just one random example,
Mm.
and I expect you to be perfect. That's wrong of me to actually think that because you have a brain, I should think that you should just be able to, fix something in the house because I can do it.
Mm.
The fact that you're emotionally vulnerable doesn't mean someone else is. So create that room for him to express himself. Sometimes it's just time. Sometimes it's just um putting him through the process of learning how to. You'll be so surprised that a lot of men are actually willing to learn, but it's not about nagging about the matter.
Wow.
It's not about nagging about it. It's about your approach.
I think that's where I was wrong. I think
Yes.
I got to a point where I started nagging about it to the point where it wasn't even just about the situation. I started like, oh, you don't talk to me, you never talk to me, da, da, da.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to you about things, you never talk to me. You get
Mm,
wins, you just mention it flimsily out of the blue,
exactly.
and I'm asking questions. And at a point, I noticed that someone, even though he wasn't I'm more of a talkative
Yeah.
person than he was or than he is before, but at a point he completely shut off.
Yes.
Like it became a hi, how are you kind of, you and your person that you're
Yes.
supposed to, at a point it was as if it was just, and obviously the whole thing soured down and all.
Most
So
most men, their brain are actually projectiles. What I mean by that is men deal on facts, right? If I tell you that you can actually go to the angle of babe, see, I know that you being vulnerable is not easy, but this is the reason why I need you to open up to me. This, that, that.
mm,
It might not necessarily give you 100% the whole information,
mm,
but it opens the door for conversation. I'll be like, I understand you, but this is the reason why I'm not saying anything. And most times, I tell people something, you think you're ready for the information, but you're actually not.
wow.
Most times, over time, women have actually it has actually been proven that when they now let you in on it, you don't have the emotional capability to
To
actually
carry
handle.
it. That's true.
So I think is yes, men need to be vulnerable. At the same time, the women need to allow the men to be
To be
vulnerable.
vulnerable. Women, auntie, sister, please don't be nagging our uncle. Give him the opportunity to come forward.
Yeah.
And when he does, don't immediately react to whatever it is, whether it has to do with you or not. You ma calm
Calm down.
down.
I'll give you an example. If you read them about Job,
Okay?
after he lost everything, when
Yeah.
his friends came, the first thing they did, can you remember?
They were talking down
They sat in silence. They didn't say a word. You know what I meant?
mm-mm.
Yeah, I did for you.
Wow.
I'm with you.
Wow.
They didn't say a word. They sat in silence with him
Mm.
before they sat with him. Like Job was just pouring out everything, and then everybody was just like, I just talk.
Wow.
Sometimes your opinion doesn't really count about me. Just allow him
Mm.
just talk. I'm like, if I understand.
Understand.
I
Wow.
understand. Sometimes somebody just needs a shoulder to just
To
lean on.
lean on, to cry on.
Most people do not necessarily need you to butt in and then give them solutions. They just need a listening ear. But
Mm.
most times we listen to
True.
we
Most
don't
of the time, people listen to
to
respond.
respond.
True.
We've not actually internalized what the person is saying because most words that you actually hear, you take them at face value, but there are deeper meanings to it.
Mm.
And that's why most times if you're actually in tune with the spirit, the Holy Spirit actually directs you to motives. Like somebody saying something, but you are seeing through those words and you can tell what
The heart of the person.
he's saying.
Mm.
Like somebody speaking to you and you see that there's a yearning from the person's heart, a
Heart.
cry for help.
Mm.
But then you're all about yourself
Yeah.
and what you want at that time. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me.
That is, oh God, I'm actually gonna, this is so true because at a point it became about me.
Yeah,
Okay, you don't talk to me. Is it I'm the problem? You'll talk to your friends. You will not talk to me. Me, that I'm your babe.
yeah,
Are we not supposed? Is this how we're going to build for the future? Da,
yeah,
da, da. It was always like about me, about me.
yeah,
And then I, something that initially started from a place of worry, like, oh, is he okay? Now became a whole selfish
yeah.
outburst.
True.
That is really profound. Thank you
True.
so much.
You're welcome.
We're rounding up.
Yeah.
What um we've spoken about different situations where men we've spoken about how family or boys relationship with his father
Yeah.
affects his vulnerability or his level of vulnerability. We've spoken about how vulnerability affects family relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about solutions?
Okay.
What can we do to create a world where boys grow up feeling safe to express themselves?
Well, you teach emotional literacy.
Okay, well, and could you dive into that a little?
It's a practical emotional intelligence. Like we need to. One thing I think men should do most often is have a book, internalize. Oh, sorry, introspect. Right. Look at your day to day, your day to day connection or communication with people.
Mm,
I think we should actually be very intentional about it and go back home and see what we could have done better.
better. Mm,
That helps us to be very cautious and emotional intelligent. That if I'd done this way, what result would I have got?
mm,
Emotional literacy.
mm,
If I've actually approached this matter this way,
mm,
I think it would not have escalated.
mm,
Be truthful to yourself.
mm.
Be truthful to yourself. There's one thing you can lie to anybody, but don't lie
You
to
can,
yourself.
yeah.
Don't lie to yourself. Be truthful to yourself to know that I messed up in this area.
Mm,
And that's where vulnerability comes in. Like, babe, see, I know I messed up. I'm really sorry. But this was the angle I was actually coming from, and I hope next time this will not happen. Myself. The thing is, intentionally try to improve upon those habits
Wow.
over time. That's how it now becomes a conscious state in your mind.
My.
And when you're about to do something, you just think. Most times you don't have to do that to spew out those words immediately. Think on it.
Mm.
How do I feel? Like most times when I send out mails, before I send out the mail, I read it to myself. How will I
How did
feel
I feel
if I
thinking
read
that?
this
Yeah.
thing to myself? Because words can be misconstrued, especially when they are typed.
Mm.
Because
Exactly.
one punctuation or something can misconstrue the whole message, and you
You
don't
know
mean
why I'm laughing?
it. Why?
If there's one thing, I hate texting. I'm
Mhm.
a call person through and through because although it's something I'm trying to work on
Yeah,
myself, I overthink things a
yeah,
little bit. So you could just be like, I'm busy. In my mind, I'm seeing it like I'm busy. I don't want to talk to you. Why disturbing me? So rather, I would literally prefer you say, "Oh, I'm busy. Can I talk to you?" And then your tone, your intonation will make me feel okay. Okay, he's just busy. It's
yes,
not me. Do you understand
yes.
what I'm saying? But anyways, carry
Do you
on.
get? And then I think one thing we should do is create a safe space for vulnerability, just like what I said at the time.
True.
Create safe space for vulnerability, and then it's something that we should actually talk about more often
More
in your
fun.
social space, in your
Yeah.
small gatherings, and all that. Like you can
Yeah.
tell your guy. You see, a man cannot actually tell his woman that guy I love you. It's a very touchy thing. Like that's gay. But but the truth is,
It's
all the
okay.
you see the Western world, like you see, Dad, I love you, not from a very genuine place. And they was like, oh, I love you too, son.
Mm.
Imagine somebody has gone through life and they've never heard that, son, I love you.
Mm.
No, think about it. Most sons have never actually heard their father say that to them.
And they will enter into marriage if they're not careful about it. They will repeat that
So repeat the same
cycle
thing.
unless they're intentional.
One of my friends usually teases me with stuff like that. He'll tell me, my guy, I love you. And then we're like, the way I'll front at him, you see, guy, it's not that deep. The truth is, I actually cherish you enough and I'm telling you how I feel. But
Mm.
then men find it very icky, basically. And because well, I don't blame them, the environment has made it seem that way. But you see, your co-girl can tell girl, I love you. And then like,
Uh-uh.
oh my girl, and all that. Do you get? You see,
Yeah.
women are naturally, when they go through stuff, they, when they speak to themselves, they all let it out. And you see
Mm.
why statistics even have it that women even live way longer than men because
Yeah.
men bottle up a lot of things. And
Yeah.
those things have,
Messes with your
it
mind.
messes up with your mind.
Yeah.
And then in trying to struggle and figure it out. And the world is not so kind to men, sorry to say.
True.
The world is not so kind to men. Like men are actually good. So that's why I said create a safe environment for men to actually express themselves. And this starts from your social gatherings. Your
Mm.
social gatherings in church, your social gatherings in your peer
Community, your
groups, your
space. Yeah.
community and all that.
Yeah.
Like be very intentional about stuff like
Like
this. So
that.
yeah, I'm here for you.
Mm.
Tell me what you're going
Even if
through.
they laugh about shit in the moment,
Yes.
behind, like after a while, guys, see, this was going on. And another thing I would like to say is, men, if your fellow man comes to tell you about something, don't make light of the situation.
Yeah.
Actually hear him and discuss about it from compassion.
Yeah.
If your fellow guy now comes and tells you, omo, my babe slapped me, oh, don't look at him like, man, how your babe fit slap you, that kind of thing. What happened? Why? How do you feel? What did you do? What can we do? What did she do? Don't now mock him.
Yeah.
Don't make jest of the thing, of the
Yeah.
situation.
Speaking of that, you see, most of the women become very passive aggressive. Like over time, it's accumulation of emotions bottled up and make you vent out something. The truth is, as it comes in, if you actually let it out, it won't pile up.
True.
You do one, pile it up. Do two, pile it up. Do three, pile it up. It's very rare for a man to come and tell you, babe, I really don't like what you do. Sometimes you just let it slide.
True.
But letting it slide, you keep up a lot of things that at some point it now escalates into.
Mm.
I'm usually very into myself and I just let in a lot of things and sometimes it leads to outbursts. because you can't handle it anymore. And then you just let out in anger because you've endured so much. You don't have to endure so much.
Mm.
You don't have to endure so much yourself. Sometimes just let it
As
out.
it's coming,
As
just
it's coming, just let it
yeah,
out.
and it doesn't even need to be
Talk it through.
babe. See, I really didn't like you said this. It doesn't even have to be in the moment. You go really think about because sometimes I realize that some people they might not even really feel anything in that moment.
Yeah,
Then when they leave, they realize I didn't like that. But the next time you see the person, guy, the way you talk that day, I not to like
exactly.
well, say, what did I say? You will even be surprised that the person didn't even mean it.
Minute.
What did I say? You said this, you said that. Bro, sorry, no vex. I don't mean I'm like that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yes, thank you so much. Um, what can we do to create a world where boys grow up feeling safe? Okay, I think we've
Yeah,
kind of answered the question. This
mm,
is for you.
okay.
What is something you wish someone told you as a younger man about emotions and expressing yourself?
Okay. I okay. What I actually wish for was I wish I actually had a safe environment to be vulnerable.
Mm,
Right. I actually wish no judgment.
mm,
No judgment. I come like I'm really struggling with this. And then you listen to me and you prefer solution.
mm,
Like I tell somebody something, I said, if you don't have a solution, then you're part of the problem. Then if you don't have a solution, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to judge me. You don't have to criticize.
mm,
Really come from a standpoint. And that's why Jesus, the love of Jesus or the love of God rather is first restorative before anything.
mm.
He wants to say, come as you are.
Come as you are. The love of Jesus is first
Restorative.
restorative before anything.
Come as you are. I wish I actually had that. Where I'm in a community of people where anything at all I did, I could talk it out and no one, no one would judge me for it. And people will allow me to be myself and learn through those mistakes and actually grow from them.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Eloho. This has been very, very impactful for me. And to all my listeners and my viewers out there, I really hope this has helped you and healed some part of trauma. Um, if you have anything, any question, you can always ask in the comment section. And we started a new section or a segment on this postcard called Put It on a T-shirt, where we talk about something that was profound or said that was very profound in the last episode or the last podcast and just say it again. On our last podcast, where we spoke about self awareness with Miss Fruitful, Miss Precious, we had a lot of profound sayings, a lot of profound quotes, which I'm just gonna remind us about so we can go home with. The first one was, "You are created to be a problem solver." So don't go around creating problems. Know it with yourself, within yourself, that I am created to solve problems, not cause problems.
Yeah,
To be loved is to be known. So for you to love yourself is to know yourself. For you to love someone else is to know someone else. Next one is, you don't define someone by their mistakes, but by their patterns. So just because someone made a mistake doesn't mean you should shun them. Look at the person's patterns. Try and see how you guys can shift and change those patterns before you come up with a decision. And be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself, and give yourself grace. This is the end of Conversations with Damola. If you have if anything during this podcast resonated with you, you can let us know in the comment section. If you have any code that you want to put on a t-shirt in this podcast, you can put in the comment section. I would create a design. And also, if you're listening to this and you're in a printing company and you want to work with us, where you actually print out
some of these quotes on a t-shirt, then please, by all means, you can reach out to me on iamidefedishere@gmail.com. Our social media is q underscore damsel on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.